What's up, everyone? I am MTG Flux, and we're gonna do story time. Story time. Um, I don't normally do these kinds of videos, but I thought it'd be fun just to kind of talk into a camera and share a little bit about my background and of the game and where I'm at, and what I like to do, and kind of show similar interests that maybe other people may have with this game as well. But I'm 35. I started playing Magic when I was around 8 or 9 because my oldest brother started putting cards in front of me, and and I really loved like the collector piece of it all, and I also liked the just the group gaming, like having, I mean, we played in a way that just had everyone sit down in a big table, had like 6 to 8 people, and it's just free for all. It's like Commander of what it would have it originated from. So, but we're just sitting in a circle, and I'm sitting here with goblin grenades and poking people and pinging people, and uh, it was just a good time. It was just really, I remember those being a young boy and really do that. And I did it for a few years. I didn't do anything crazy. And I was a kid, so I had way other interests too. So it would just be like when it was convenient for everyone to play, that's what we did. But there was no deep dive in there. My collection was my oldest brother's collection that he hand me down, and we just had like bulk rares and just a lot of bad cards. You know what I mean? Making things happen. But I will say those goblin grenades, that's fresh in the brain. Those cards are better than just full cards. They're money. Um, but yes, so I put it down as a kid because I was just growing up, going to school activities, playing sports, getting involved in all the things. Man, I grew up skateboarding, theater, um, and all sports all year round: football, basketball, baseball, soccer a little bit, and and I did that all the way up until when I graduated from high school. And then I got out. I was kind of living on my own, and I had picked up. I don't know where I picked up wanting to look at Magic cards again, but I wanted to like buy a deck and maybe try to pick it back up again. But the biggest problem this time around was I had no one to play with. Like I said, I went online. I purchased, like, it was under $30, and at the time, and it was just Bushido Samurai Tribal. And I just looked at all these old Kamigawa cards and just put it together, and you know, it shows my ignorance. Like the mechanics just butt. but but yeah, that's what I did, and I played for a little while whenever we could. So like family events, I get my brothers involved, and we poke around and stuff like that. But that didn't last very long. Like I said, for a couple years maybe. But then I put it down, and then uh, probably about 4 or 5 years, Strixhaven. Strixhaven is when I picked it back up, and this time I picked it back up. It was wild. Complete obsession over this game. But I was actually playing an online game. I was playing Apex Legends with a buddy that I met online playing Apex Legends, and he was like, "Hey man, we ended up talking about like young childhood nostalgia stuff." I was like, "Yeah, I used to play Magic. That was a lot of fun. No one to play with." He was like, "You should play Arena." I'm like, "Whoa, you play Magic?" And then he was like, "Yeah, I grind Arena. I don't play paper or anything, but Arena is just convenient and awesome." Blah blah blah. So I'm like, "Cool, let me jump on." And I didn't even know Arena existed. I didn't know at the time. I didn't even know online Magic Online was a thing. Like, I was just oblivious outside the bubble of what it was of mainstream Magic. Because I did Magic like in my own way. Like, yeah, we followed the rules, but there was a lot of miscued rules uh, back when I was playing because there was no one to really enforce, and we just kind of like assumed what the phases were, and we can like misconstrue cards to benefit us, just being kids and not quite understanding. But Arena, as you know, fixes you into knowing like it does the rules for you. So there's no breaking the rules. So I was able to learn a lot there. And then when Crimson Vow and Midnight Hunt came around, like I'm just obsessing over wanting to play Paper Magic. So I'm like, well, let's get out there and I have no collection. I have just my box of like common bulk chaff from back when I was 8 or 9 years old. And yes, I've sifted through, and there was it's just bulk. That's all it is. But that being said, so I was like, how do I build a collection? I was like, well, I guess draft would be cool. So I was looking up local card shops, and I found Spanky's in Kansas City, which one of the biggest Kansas City card shops that exists in the area. So, which super fortunate to walk in there, and then the first night that I went in there, it was during midnight. It was a midnight hunt F&M draft, and they always do F&M drafts. But I met uh, three incredibly good friends of mine to this day, Josh, Angie, and Lawson. Um, like to this day, like they're just my people that I go to when we play Magic, and they're kind of like me. Like they dabble in other things. We do a sealed league together to this day. It's once a month, and it's super. It's a blast. But they were kind of bringing me in, and I'm like, hey, don't know what I'm doing here. I mean, this ain't arena, so I'm like, call me out on my stuff. I'm just trying to learn and get better and collect some cards and get weird. So I started doing that, and I'm going to stop there because from there on, all I do is like I've draft every chance I get, and like even they will sometimes get burnt out, and I just keep going just because I haven't had my fill yet. I love cracking packs, and like they would always give me a hard time, call me a packhead, and all play too. I'm like, hey, just save the packs, man. We'll do a draft with them one day, and blah 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 blah. I'm like, no, man, I gotta crack these, man. Like I can't stop. So that's kind of like the origin story of me. And then along the way, probably it's been probably a couple years ago. I started dabbling into some constructed formats. Like I'm very on Arena. I played a lot of standard, and because I got to get my dailies and stuff, and I wasn't always able to afford getting my gems. When I'm down bad and can't win a match, blah blah blah. But so standard I was always familiar with, and I love high power level formats. So I really was gravitated towards like modern and things like that. So along the way, I started with Modern as my first paper format. I was playing a Yawgmoth deck, and I would win just because, like during that time, you could just accidentally just pop off with Yawgmoth, and it was just easy GGs. Like, obviously, there's a lot of game decisions in that kind of deck, but anyways, that was kind of like my first space of like paper Magic, and it was fun. I remember my first night of paper constructed was just a normal Thursday night, modern night, up at Spanky's, of course, and I went 2-1. I'm like, man, this is easy. I should just be a constructed player all the time. And come to find out, not good at constructed, or like during that time, and I just would lose consistently, and I still do every now and then, but it's just because I play decks that I want to play. I don't always net deck and try to play meta, the optimal everything. Like right now in standard paper, I'm playing like VV Prowess over the Cauldron stuff, and I know how oppressive the VV Cauldron situation is, but I still like the prowess thing because prowess is one of my favorite mechanics. I like the interaction, the fun things that go on along with it. It's just like fair VV, right? This is what VV is supposed to be. Life's good. But at any rate, so throughout this time, I ended up. I love playing for stakes. I love playing competitively because growing up playing all these sports and everything, I have an incredibly competitive nature about me. And so I always like to, even when I'm out of my depth, because I always love. I mean, yeah, I get bummed and butt hurt and tilted when things don't go my way. Like to myself, I believe in sportsmanship, but like when I just like am in a rut and I can't pull wins and stuff like that. But I'm a spiky player. Like when I get hot, I get hot, and I stay hot for a while, and then I'll plummet. And it's just the same. I'm on the roller coaster of hot and cold, which I'd rather be than just be good for a while and then stay washed up. So, um, but yeah. So at this point, I don't in my magic space. I'm trying to do content now, which has changed a lot of perspective and it's making me like magic even more. I have a different viewpoint on a lot of things when I'm trying to explain what I'm trying to do and accomplish and notice and things like that. So it is a learning experience with that as it is now. But I have been just dabbling in constructed when I can, because I work a 60-hour job outside of here, of doing this, and it takes up a lot of time. But I get out when I can. So right now I'm currently liking standard and things like that. I've been playing, like I had mentioned, I've been playing VV Prowess, and I've been 0-2 dropping a lot of nights because I got to get up at like 4:30 or 5 in the morning the next morning. I'm like, I'll take the losses and go. And then so last night it was Wednesday night, and I was just going to play my standard normal stuff. But instead of playing Vivi, I've been putting together the Tifa landfall deck, and just because I've been wanting to do that. But like I don't have all the pieces. Like I only have two Bristly Bills. I'm like messing with the Ouroboros and seeing if there's like a fun thing to do and that kind of thing. But like I'm playing my Ice Till, the Ice Till whatever Explorers or whatever, the 4-drop that makes extra land drops. You can cast lands from your graveyard, and you so in extra land drops. So like you're pumping Tifa 4 times, you're swinging in 16 or 32. Like it just it's like a busted deck, but it's a lot of fun. Um, I never piloted it at all, so I'm going to Wednesday Magic, and I'm just going to see how it feels and try to get a understanding of the piloting of it. It's landfall, so let's be real. It's not like complicated by any means, but I want to see like the interactions, like the Tifa into the Ice Till, like finding out like, well, I want to play Tifa on turn 3 because I want to have Snakeskin Veil available. So when I play the Ice Till, I get to then do my thing with protection up, and that feel and like so it's like there's those kinds of interactions that I'm trying to navigate through, and I learned it last night. But come to find out, when I got there, it was the store championship. So it being the store champion, I'm like, oh man, this is bad. I'm like, and I haven't even mentioned like I have like no sideboard. I happen to have a Ghost Vacuum in the sideboard, and I happen to have a Pick Your Poison. Outside, it's just cards that like was niche considerations that like I can kind of see it could be a thing. Like, no. Like I had Sirach in the sideboard. I am splashing with one of Mountain, one of Island for the Dragons, the Dragon wipe, the Dragon board wipe. But yeah, so like that has landfall, make a 4/4 dragon after it deals 3 damage to everything. So very medium, but there could be matchups where it's good. And I was main decking one, and then had a second one that happened to be in the sideboard. Like I said, there was no sideboard, but I just had cards there, and like the deck's not finished, blah blah blah. So I'm like, I'm here. Like, we'll go. Let me get a Red Bull. Let's crack this. Let's like, and this is after I've been up since 4:30 in the morning, working, get off, went home, took a quick shower, got dressed, and left to Spanky's. So come to find that out. So I have very zero expectations. I am not like thinking I'm gonna do anything. Like I'm just like, hey, I'm just trying to. I'm actually just playing a sword championship just to play around with this new deck that I play or I'm playing. Because like I said, I'm normally doing like Izzet stuff and trying to stay like in the wheelhouse of things that I like to do. But I like landfall stuff too, and that was the inspiration there. And Tifa's hot, so keep that in mind. But that being said, round one. So I play against this four color like domain dragon deck. Like it was pretty good. I mean, it was really good against my deck because it was mostly control things going on with it. So he was playing the Ill-Time Explosions. It was a Smuggler's Surprise deck, and he was playing the Ureni, the 10/10 Dragon, which I did kill once with Pick Your Poison out of the sideboard, the one of Pick Your Poison. Like I was incredibly dead that game, but I'm like, I can work around this. Sack your flyer is great, but he's playing Meringue River Regent, so I was calling it like Smugglers Dragons kind of stuff, and his deck was really good, and he beat me in three. So game he beat me game one, I think, and then I ended up Tifa offing, going crazy. No, I actually beat him game one, and then he came back and won the second two games. That is what happened. But the first thing I was like, I elf, Llanowar elf into Tifa, and swing out and just doing it, and like he just wasn't drawing the answers like the ill-time explosions and things like that. So it was kind of a gimme win. Granted, it was turn four because I did elf, Tifa. No, it was yeah Tifa. I hit in for a little bit on turn three with fetch land and blah blah blah, like Evolving Wilds or something, and then I ice tilled another Evolving Wilds, bring one back, sack it. So I'm like 16 your face, and so yeah, it was cool. But I did end up losing that match. So like at this point, I'm like, I don't care. I got one of the matches in there, so didn't feel like terrible, and like it's kind of feeling good. Like the curve out just feels really good, and I don't care what anyone says. Llanowar Elves is a busted card because Llanowar, like, you gotta bolt that bird because every time I Llanowar Elf into Tifa with Snakeskin Veil up, like it just feels good. Like they're wasting their turn. I'm just time walking them with a Snakeskin Veil and is pumping my Tifa. Like it's nice. But that sequence happened a lot. So shout out to my Llanowar Elves. I love Llanowar Elves. Best green card. Definitely not, but like it's just nostalgia, I think. That being said, so I go to round two. Round two, I play a Vivi Prowess deck. Granted, he did play Cauldron, but I didn't see a Cauldron any of the games. I beat him in two, but so I think it was VV Cauldron. It's just he couldn't draw his Cauldrons or his Profs, whatever the hell it is, that draws cards and counters, blah blah blah. So like he wasn't comboing off on me and popping off. So he did, however, had a lot of interaction. So Snakeskin Veils just really punished him at every turn. There's one turn where I had two Snakeskin Veils, and I had a Tifa, one tap green, and then two untap green. And he just tried to bolt and then a braid, and it was just like Snakeskin Veil. Snakeskin Veil again, and then at that point it was just blowout because one land from that is 6, and then if it's an Evolving Wild, that's 12. And it's just one land makes my 12 power creature just beaten in. So, ended up getting him in two. It's kind of the same sequence. Snakeskin Veil just stepped up and really just did its job. I'm not playing any interaction other than combo enhancers like Snakeskin Veil, the Chocobo, um, and then Sazaz's Chocobo as well for another one drop, which that card outperforms for me as well. Like it really just there were some games where it's important to go wide, and like I'm having two Chocobos, a Bristly Bill, Tifa. If they kill the Tifa, I play another Tifa, and like I just got a lot going on, dude. Like you gotta wipe this. But anyway, so we took down round two. So I'm 1-1. Like actually, in all reality, I feel great. You know, I'm just like, hey, got copped a win off this. Like that feels good. That feels real good. Um, this next round, I end up playing a raise against the past, raise the past. It's where that Orzhov deck where it brings back all these 2 and less drops or whatever. Maybe it's 3 and less drops, but and then he had Sephiroth that he never showed, but he he tried to get lost the same Tifa 3 times, and then Snakeskin Veil, boom, 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 all 3 times in the same game. But he also was playing the Servandam from Edge of Eternities, which is cool interactions, like with things that go exile, and like it was awesome. And I'm just Mosswood Hydra actually was a big reason I won that, because like he had enough interaction to kind of get in my way and stop my Tifas, but I had 2 Mosswood Hydras that I'm just like, you have to deal with one of them, dude. And then I had a Saz Chocobo as well, so like I got things going on, and I'm going to trample past you if you don't do anything. And he couldn't quite get there. There's no like real card draw in his deck other than Sephiroth, which he did not see. The only reason I know is because he told me that it was in there. I was like, well, I mean, of all card draw, probably not the best, but if you're raising against the pass and get all those things on, like, yeah, that's card advantage within itself. So I see what he was doing. But I got there, 2-0'd him, so felt good there. And then round 4, so I don't remember how many people were in this tournament, but I know it was 4 rounds and then top 8, and then we cut off at top 8, finish out single elim, best out of 3. So round 4, I go up against Brian Boss. He is a pro Magic player. He's really good, and I'm like, all right. I'm like, the SpongeBob gif where like he's getting out of the recliner. He's like, I'm a head out. It was kind of one of those moments, but he came up to me, and I think he was 2-0-1, and then I was 2-1. So he's like, hey, would you like to split? And at this point, rankings put me in like I want to say 6th place. There was at least 16 players there, but I want to say there was more like 20 something total, because I know people dropped and stuff like that. But when I started paying attention, there were 16 people there, and not all of them stayed. So I think there was around 20 something people. So go on, and then he wants to split, and I'm looking at my breakers. The guy that I ended up playing that beat me the round 1, he had a winning record at that time as well, so like that helps my breakers. And I'm like, my one loss is against a winning guy. Yeah, I'll split, and I felt confident with that. There was some risks there for splitting there, but like I said, I had to get up, or this morning I had to get up even early. I had to get up at 4 in the morning, and so I'm like, yeah, I'll split. If I don't cut it, that's all right. Like I said, I'm not having high expectations. I'm just glad to be there and glad that the deck's copping some wins and doing its thing. So we split. I get into the top 8. I think I got ranked 6 or 7. I think I got ranked 6 into the top 8. So I lost. So they did uh, choice, I think it's what it's called, where they pick whether they go first or second. Yeah, they have choice. So that guy was better ranked than me. I'm pretty sure that guy was 3-1. Yeah, that guy was 3-1. So I think he was like second or third, and then I was like in the sixth, seventh area. But I play against a mono green uh, aggro deck, and he played the might, where whenever it becomes tap, it buffs a power of another creature. And then what he would do, he would play 2 mights, and then one would see bumping because it's on triggers, and then he would pump one, and then this double pumped one will pump this one back for even bigger. So he just like there's some like cool combo going on there. And then he was playing, um, I think it was a 2-drop 3/2 from Thunder Junction, where like when you plot it for 2 or 3 or something, it gives something +3/+2 and trample, which is like I see what he was doing there, but when you're pumping those mites, yeah, it becomes scary. I ended up winning game 1, and he got me game 2 with like the double might thing. So I'm like, oh man, that's not good. Like, note that I have no sideboard, so I can't like take care of his stuff. Um, but I did bring in a vacuum, a ghost vacuum, because I think he had a Kenai Curator. I think that's the one that gets +4/+4 if you have 4 different types of +4, +4, +3, +3. Anyways, when you have 4 different types exiled from that card. So it's like, well, I can counter some of that by playing a Ghost Vacuum, which is very like thin margins, like good or not. Definitely wasn't. Um, but I ended up getting there. I got there in 3, so that felt awesome. Going into the next round, I ended up playing this guy named Zach, a really good player. Plays in RCQs all the time, and he knows his stuff, and he's really cool. Like he's great conversation, and he's just a really good player and a good dude. So shout out to him. So this was actually the last match that I played, because there was a split. No, I think one person, I think Brian Boss actually had to leave to go to work or something, and so gave Andrew, this other guy that was in the championship, the win. So this guy's in the championship already, and then they're talking to us. We're like, hey, whoever wins this, if you guys want to, you guys can split the promos at the end with whoever wins the championship. Do you guys want to hash that out so he can leave? I was like, oh, I don't care, dude. I'm just happy to be here, So like that wasn't a big issue. And then no one cared, so they leave the promo. So it was basically the championship game happening right there between us, and because we're playing for the promo, everything else is said and done. So he's on VV Cauldron. His VV Cauldron was humming. Game 1, I took him. I just had the perfect Elf, Tifa, hold up a turn, Ice Till with Snakeskin Veil up, and just go to town. Yeah, plenty of the Evolving Wilds, Terramorphic Expanse, Tunnel, Escape Tunnel, like just doing all the things. It worked out smooth. Like it was probably kind of the nut draw. It's quite like easy. That being said, I know how this VV Cauldron deck works, and if I give them room to breathe, like they're popping off. It's ridiculous. That leads us to the next game. The next game, we are. So it is a slower hand that I had. I think I had 2 Saws Chocobos. I think I had a Snakeskin Veil, 2 or 3 lands, and a Tifa. So it was Saw's Chocobo, then a land, double pump. So I'm like, I'm kind of getting in there, but then he plays Mako. He's getting a lot of draws off it. He plays his profs. I don't know whatever it is, and then so he's starting to get all these counters going, and he's playing FOMO, and he's just kind of popping off. So he's getting a lot of things in the graveyard. He gets his Cauldron out. He has literally a 20-minute turn. It was like 15 to 20 minutes of just him drawing cards, putting counters on things, and like just like every trigger he's like having to move like 4 or 5 dice, and just like that's how he's getting through. And the win condition there was just a FOMO, um, double attack, get through my stuff, and life's over. But so yeah, lost that one, and then we're in the third match. At this point, I will have you that no one is in the building. I have his buddy that's sitting next to me, his other buddy that was watching the match sitting next to him, and Spanky, the shop owner, sitting next to him as well. And we're just kind of like, it's just quiet. Like, and he's doing his, like, that 20-minute turn is just like brutal. I'm sitting here looking at my second Tifa that I drew in Snakeskin Veil. I'm like, well, you ain't killing this. You know, I have a fine board, but like, I'm just dead. But any rate, game three. So I have Elf Tifa and then 2 Snakeskin Veils. Whenever I get 2 Snakeskin Veils, I know like, oh yes, like we're doing it, because I'm going to be able to do the thing. But I was on, I had one fetch land, or Evolving Wilds when I say fetch, but I had one of them in my hand and 2 other lands. So like I'm there. I got what I need, and I also have the Ice Till as no. So I had Elf. I didn't have the Ice Till. I drew into the Ice Till as the game progressed, but I'm also drawing lands too. So like the hand is becoming like the nut draw, just really good. Elf, Tifa. He does not respond to trying to kill my Tifa in a turn because he is on 2 lands, and he doesn't draw his third land, but he's still like drawing cards and kind of like progressing that way. And then what killed it for him, turn 3, I have I think I play a Saz Chocobo land, and then I still have my 2 Snakeskin Veils up, and then he tries to abrade. No, so that end step he tried to what's the 1 mana deal 2s and exiles whatever. He tries to bolt it, and I Snakeskin Veil, and then he's like, oh man, like, but that's all right. So he untaps, he's like abrade, and no, he's only on 2 mana. He's like abrade, and then second Snakeskin Veil, and then it was just blown out from there. He didn't draw a land for 2 more turns. I Ice Tilled and just went off and did my thing. Um, and then Scott or Spanky was sitting there, like with his head down because like that long second game was like brutally long with like him comboing off, and the third game it's just like boom, 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 boom because he couldn't get going, and the VV deck has so much like gameplay to it, and then I am just like Elf, Tifa, go, Snakeskin, no, Snakeskin, no, Ice Till, sack, land, trigger, 8 or 16 and so it was really cool to be able to, and he's a great player. Like he did, like there was some land screw on his part, but he was still playing cards. He was playing relevant cards that was messing with what I had, but like double Snakeskin Veil stepped up for me big, and it was awesome. So I got the promo. So I ended up being considered playing for I was the store champion, that the person that played it out, and it was really cool. So I got the foil of the Fable of the Mirrorbreaker, and then Reflection of Kiki Jiki on the other side, and yeah, that was awesome. I think it's like $85 on TCG right now. Some of the other promos, I got my store stamp top 8 card from Spanky's. You can see the store stamp right there. Clarity's not really good on the camera right now. Then I got the foil one, just for getting top 8. That was cool. And just for entering, we had 2 bitter triumphs that were given out, which is awesome. And then the monstrous rage. So it was funny. I was like, oh, you're just promos of banned cards, dog. That's awesome. Yeah, because Fable the Mirror Breaker was banned too. But that being said, like, it was a great experience, and I wanted to share that just because, like, it's not my first like big victory. You know, I've taken home 114 player limited event at a MagicCon for playing for boxes and stuff before. You know, back in what was it, February or March? Yeah, February or March in Chicago. So like I've been in spaces of like that caliber, but this one was just funny. I walked in just trying to do some play test, didn't, and come to find out it was a Sword Championship, and then just did my thing. I played super tight with what I had. I realized like the bones of the deck and what it did, and then I played around that. I leaned into it, and I got a lot of wins. So, but yeah, that's really my story. I know it's a little longer of a video and more of a rant, but I wanted to share a little bit about my background and my intentions are and like where I'd like to go. But at the end of the day, I'm a limited player at heart, and I love staying there. But it is fun to walk into some constructed tournaments and performing, and it feels really good. I ended up getting home at like 1:30 last night. Like I said, I had to get up at like 4 in the morning this morning, but it was totally worth it. I went to bed with a big old shit-eating grin on my face. But that being said, I appreciate all of you guys for hanging out. And if you guys like what we're doing, please like, comment, and subscribe. Sugar, my pup, she appreciates it too. But yeah, thank you guys so much for what you do and what you stand for. And heck yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.